full article there. Okay, so what are the challenges here for endurance athletics if we're solely going to do plant-based? I think this is like the main concern. Some of, you have to be diligent, 100% need to be diligent, and you may not reach 100% of your potential if you cannot be. So you want to make sure, especially if you're a female, about your iron, but both male and female, just more specifically for women's iron. You want to make sure you're getting enough zinc, vitamin A, and C. So although these compounds are found in plants, we can't always eat enough of that because we're eating plant-based diets. We need to eat enough to maintain your weight. So think about when you're doing increased training hours, maybe for, an ultra or some kind of endurance event. You got to eat like a full-time job. And now if we're being very particular and our food is very nutrient dense, we're not getting in our calories, we're not getting in our protein or our macros. It is super time consuming, which I think I mentioned Tom Brady does a lot of, blending his food and drinking it because it's one way to get it all in. And somebody's sort of, saying like, okay, you need like A, B, C, and D to go into that shake, and, E, E, F, G, and H in that shake. So it becomes very diligent to make sure that we're getting enough in. We want to beware. A lot of times, I see people, mostly females, looking at like, oh, you know what, I bet if I just eat plants, I'll probably lose some weight too because all this other stuff that I'm eliminating. And it becomes a very slippery slope of, am I going to make weight? I'm losing weight, and it can become very restrictive and not very healthy. So you want to be wary, if you think you're saying to yourself like, oh, this can help me get to race weight or something like that. That might be a signal that, like reach out and maybe talk to somebody else and see if we can't find a healthier way to get that done for you. Again, as I said, the calorie intake can be subpar very easily if you're just, you might just be underdoing it a little bit. There's the research shows that there's increased respiratory infections sometimes with endurance athletics and plant-based foods. I do see that, we burn the same substrates for your immune system as we do for endurance athletics. So I see this in general when some of the athletes that I work with, maybe they're like burning it at both ends, or they're, coming up to race. They're kind of burnt out. And it's because the high volume, we're using all the same stuff for energy production as we do for our immune system, and there's just not enough to go around. And the energy production trumps the immune system, so we pull it out. So we wind up a little bit susceptible for that. So again, that can be increased there. We want to make sure that we're getting enough stuff in so we're not susceptible for respiratory infections. B12 is huge. Creatine and carnitine also usually found in animal products, and iodine. Those are things you want to make sure that you're getting enough of. Adequate for athletes is not the same adequate for a sedentary person. So if you're looking at requirements for certain things, just remember that you have to go above and beyond that when you're doing high volume training. And then injuries may increase requirements. So if you have some injuries, you might need some more stuff to help you heal. So also, eating does become a full-time job. I put in the Runner's World, did a great article blog on endurance athletes and the need to eat meat to perform well. I think they did a really nice job as to talking about eating meat and also talking about eating plants. It's a really interesting article. Again, if you want to screenshot that so that you have the link, you can look at that as well. I can give you a second to screenshot that.